Scorching! Utah!
Welcome back to Slapshot, Utah. So nice to be here with you. It's the dog days. The dog days of summer. Partner John, you ever wondered where that term, the dog days of summer, ever came from? By the way, I hope you're having a great summer, John. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's been great. Back from California.
Yeah.
I got spoiled for my couple days in California with 74 degrees and sunny. And now it's hotter than words I don't even want to say to begin off the show. But I hope everyone's trying to stay cool and is having a great summer. If you have kids, take them to a water park or something.
A $107, 107 degrees, dog days of summer is what they call it. You hear that on a lot of baseball movies too. It was the dog days of summer. Back in Roman times, right? Sirius, which is the dog star. You can see it in Canis Major, right? It's probably the brightest star in the summer sky. The Romans thought that maybe the reason it was hotter during the summer is because that star was so bright, and it's usually visible between July 3rd and about August 11th. And so old Roman thing calling it the hot old dog days of summer. Of course, I've always kind of just felt like the dog days of summer. I mean, we're all dog ass tired of working, dog ass sitting out in the heat. We were talking that before we got on. It's just too damn hot.
Well, I always refer, like when I say dog days of summer, we're lucky that we still have some World Cup, but I always refer to dog days of summer when there's little to nothing to watch in sports besides like the game 23 of 182 game season of MLB.
Yeah. Well, and especially for the next couple days here, the plug is going to be pulled because the World Cup tempo is slowing down. We're down into the semis, and it's the All-Star break for Major League Baseball. So unless you're a big I want to watch the All-Star game guy, there's not really a lot of sports going on. However, we do have hockey free agency and all of the associated offer sheet fuckery. And of course, we both know there is no fuckery quite as delicious as NHL offer sheet fuckery. We've been watching it go down with the Leo Carlson situation in Anaheim.
Yeah, that's a ridiculous contract that he just got.
Yeah.
$18 million a year?
Yeah. And listener, do you think Leo Carlson is worth $18 million a year? That makes him the league's highest paid player.
Dude, I was just going to say, 18 million, like, hey. So one of the biggest things about becoming a hockey fan is, like, the difference in pay, right? So, like, Donovan Mitchell, who we all love here in Utah, because when he came to the Jazz, he gave us a little bit of a spark. Just signed a deal for $68 million a year, which is
a year
unheard of. A year, $68 million a year. And if he would have waited 6 months with the new like contract, like negotiation, he probably would have gotten into 80. But like, so like when I look at hockey now, I bet you Ryan Smith is licking his lips. Like, what do you mean? I got Dylan Guenther locked in for 8 years for $7.5 million. A lot of our fan favorites' favorite player, Dylan Guenther, is making $11 million less a year than Leo Carlson.
Yeah,
and he's a great player, but that's crazy.
Well, and that's just it, is if they're going to pay Leo, was it 15, 18, whatever they're going to pay Leo Carlson, like Cutter Gautier's got to get paid as well. And he's not going to take $8 million a year. He wants what Leo's going to get paid. And so the Flyers, through offer sheet,
5-year, $90 million.
Yeah, it kind of, I think the Anaheim Ducks have $8 million left in the cap, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're going to have to trade. They're bailing water, which is just what happens in some of these offer sheet situations. There's a little bit of a grudge between the Flyers organization and the Ducks organization, relating right back to how Cutter Gauthier got to the Ducks in the first place. However, the Utah Mammoth were presented with a offer sheet challenge of their own, which was not nearly as franchise transforming nor terrorizingly threatening. But nevertheless, the New Jersey Devils did make an offer sheet on Barrett Hayton. It was 1 year, 4.775.
Yep.
John, if you're like me, listener, if you're like me, I was not expecting, especially after the Trocheck pickup and, Anders Lee and like the center talent that we have coming up from the AHL, I can only think we weren't going to side in Barrett Hayton, and lo and behold, we did. What do you think about that?
Well, let's just say I got mixed feelings. We'll say that. I got mixed feelings because all over Twitter, it's kind of funny, like the levels of players. I feel like Barrett Hayton is the only one that doesn't have a super fan on the social medias. It seemed like every single person that was sad about everyone we've lost in trades or free agency, they all were so sad about it. Every single person was so mad about the Barrett Hayton, except for one guy, our trusted source, Julian from 996 The How, and he convinced me that Barrett Hayton is a great piece to have at the price he is.
Yes.
And you said it exactly right. We all watched the media day with Trocheck and
Anders
Lee. And even one of I forgot who asked the question, but they asked, we have so much power in the center to Trocheck. They go, we have so much power and depth in the center. Do you feel comfortable playing as a forward? And he said he feels comfortable at every position in the front line. So to sign Barrett Hayton, yeah, who knows? But it's like I told somebody at the bar yesterday while watching the Norway-England game. He asked me how I feel. I go, you know what? We might all be disappointed, but if Barrett Hayton comes out and has 20 goals, has a good season, scores a couple points a game, has a redemption year, and earns a big contract, whether that be here or there, you know what? I'm cheering for the kid, man.
Heck yeah, we're cheering for the kid. I mean, look, you're absolutely, because I did the same thing you did. I was like, what? Why did we do that? Immediately, I went to 996 The How. Of course, Julian already had something on it, and it did kind of refocus my attention in the fact that, sooner or later, somebody's going to get injured. And you also mentioned, the versatility that these guys are willing to take on. I think Anders Lee willing to play center and wing. These guys are going to get moved around. I even heard that Barrett Hayton possibly could move from center to wing. And just because Trocheck might not be playing center, it doesn't mean that if he ends up playing a wing position, that he's still not going to take faceoffs. The tools that our man, Barrett Tourigny, has this season. And as Julian emphasized so well in his podcast, 996 The How, the depth that this Mammoth team has now. Man, we're deep, especially if these cats are willing to, to be versatile position-wise. This is where it starts. And, of course, it couldn't start with, because you saw the conference, the welcome conference as well. It couldn't start with two guys seemingly any more competitive than we got. I mean, what were your takes on Vincent Trocheck and Anders Lee? What'd you think of those guys personally?
Dude, so first of all, this is going to be the title of the episode. Is Utah a destination now? Because both of them have been competing high level at the Islanders and Rangers, respectively. And they both were like, we came here because we believe this team is a winner. And I loved when, I think it was the Fox 13 reporter, I don't remember her name, forgive me, but she goes, what is your goal in your first year here on the Mammoth? And Trocheck said, well, every year, I think every player comes into training camp with the only goal to win the Stanley Cup. And to have two veteran guys like this. And also, Anders Lee, I just got to say, I tweeted about it. That man's got a godly chin, buddy. Dude, you could cut a diamond with that chin line, buddy. Dude, and he just looks like a hockey player. He's big. I actually liked Anders Lee. Actually had a really good. I forgot how he said it, but exactly how you said it last week. Anders Lee was like, "I'm excited to go in there and score some greasy goals, get in front of the net, block it up," exactly like you said. And they're both super stoked on the community. They're like, there's no other team or organization like this. And they both just kept hammering on how pumped they are to be here with Ryan Smith, Bill Armstrong. I want to do a little exercise with you, okay? So while I was watching it, because I was just... Obviously, I was hitting my little pen, which it's right here, and I was watching it, and I love that everyone goes like, I'm just saying, he'll be like, Cole Bagley, KSL Sports, and then they ask a question. So this is what I would say if I were in that, right? John, Slapshot, Utah. Yeah, Bill Armstrong, you're clearly the buffest guy in the locker room every time. Is there a minimum bench requirement when drafting or signing players? Because, dude, Bill Armstrong is yoked, dude.
Yeah, you know, with the glasses, and this is an old joke. We've already digested it many times as fans, but with the glasses, he just looks like a little bit like Clark Kent. You know what I mean?
Oh,
but with the glasses, it's like he takes those glasses off. He's going to be not GMBA, but SMBA. Super.
Hey, Leroy, but the whole point of me asking that, what would you ask of if you were in that press conference?
Oh, what would I ask if I were in the press?
Frame it exactly how to say it. Say your name, your organization, and that's the question.
Geez, I don't know how. GMBA, this is Leroy with Slapshot, Utah. Geez. What are the real expectations of the Utah Mammoth this year? Like, how close are we really? Is this the plan? Like, look, guys like Trocheck and Anders Lee waived their no-trade selection clauses when their contracts were formed up. They said, I don't want to go here, here, here. And these guys say they want to come to Utah. So, geez, it's getting around. You know, it's getting around.
And as a diehard Jazz fan my whole life, this has never been the case, people. I've listened all my life to the talking heads on every sports broadcast. Who the hell wants to live in Utah? Who the hell wants to go play in front of Utah? And to have two formidable NHL captains, all-stars, gold medal winners, big-time names. Dude, let's go, people. This is awesome.
You know, I want to piggyback onto that sentiment with something. Right now, the NHL, in some ways, seems like what's going on with the evolution of the league is a little bit of a game of musical chairs. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. You'll notice this whole Dylan Larkin, I want to get traded, and I only want to get traded to a winner. You see where the Kachuk brothers are both playing now, you know, with who's it, Brady getting transferred to Florida. Yeah, it's the taxes, sure, but it's also an organization that's serious about winning. These guys want to get traded to organizations that are serious about winning, and if that's the slow evolution of what's happening to the NHL, is maybe becoming a little bit more like the NBA, where there's going to be the haves and the have-nots, and there's going to be about 7 or 8 teams that are the type of winner-type teams that are going to attract Stanley Cup-type talent. The salary cap is changing. The league is transforming before our eyes, and so maybe a poor analogy, but in my way of looking at it, there's a little bit of a musical chairs. Utah, we have to get good and we have to win. That's how we keep guys coming here. Yeah, it's beautiful mountains, beautiful, great people, great state to live in, raise your kids, safe place. But ultimately, these champions, they want to win. And that's the next step. As soon as we start winning, then just wait. Then see who wants to come to Salt Lake City to play hockey. Once the Ryan Smith group proves that we're that type of organization, this is just the beginning. And so, and I think what we got to do is we got to be really serious right now, because you've seen how long this rebuild has taken, clear from the Phoenix Coyotes days. Like, you know, it takes a decade to turn a team around, and we're in such a great position. And to Bill Armstrong's credit, and I think you might have been alluding to this, hey, all of a sudden it seems like our size and tenacity problems are out the window. I mean, you know, Trocheck is a nuisance and a troublemaker. And you want to mess with Anders Lee? Like, so that's the thing, is we got more physical, and now you brought back Barrett Hayton. Listen, we don't always have to play the same lineup. There's going to be times that Barrett Hayton is the right guy for the job and someone else isn't. There's going to be injuries. There's going to be hot and cold. There's going to be all sorts of scenarios that having Barrett Hayton around might just do the trick. Now, we're not allowed to trade him for a year. And I know there were a lot of people who were frustrated because we were all thinking, well, when is T.J. Ginla going to get his shot? You know, when is, like, why did he even draft Denoye at 4 overall last season? Why did we even do that if we're not going to give him a chance to play? These guys got plenty of time to bake. We don't want to rush them along. There's no reason to. And so it might have been a really solid move. And another thing that Julian also mentioned on his show, it's not that bad of a contract. 4.77 maybe isn't what I want to pay him every year for 5 years, but it'll do for a year, and we can withstand the hit on cap. So why the hell not, John? Let's be deep.
And also, dude, Barrett Hayton is not a scrub. He was drafted, what, 3rd overall? Like, he has potential, wasn't he?
Was he drafted? He was drafted higher than I thought. I thought
he was drafted pretty high. But what I was gonna say is that he might just have a breakout year, people. He's getting comfortable out here. The team likes him. It's not like he's not toxic to the locker room. You never hear anything about Barrett Hayton.
5th overall.
5th overall, okay,
yeah.
That's pretty high. That's pretty high.
That is pretty high. Hey, listen, I'm right with you on that too. It's that he could have a breakout, and that's the other thing that GMBA was saying. He's like, you know, it's when we realized how many other teams would be more than happy to bring him on. Like, it shows you, like, it's not just us. Like, there's a lot of Barrett Hayton left on the table. Maybe we just need to be a little bit patient and see what happens. You never know what's going to happen.
You never know. Dude, another thing I liked about the press conference was Trocheck talking about his relationship with Logan Cooley.
Oh, yeah.
And that was so cool when he was like, Logan Cooley was texting him every day for like 2 weeks to find out that if he was going to come and play here. And then my favorite part was when he said he met Logan Cooley when Cooley was 12 years old.
Yeah.
And he was skating with the NHL players, and he was like, he was making me look dumb back then, and he still does. Yeah. And that was really cool. It was really cool to hear Anders Lee and Trocheck both say, like, oh, he's a pain in the ass to play against, so I'm happy to be on his team. Look, man, like we said last week, we lost some friends of ours, let's say, that were here for the inaugural season. But we got some dogs coming over here, and it's going to just help create the identity that will become and that will be the Utah Mammoth moving forward. Anders Lee saying that every day he sees the mammoth on the sweater, too. He's like, it just seems more real. I feel the same way. When the mammoth first comes out, you're like, what? Now it's like, I'm looking at it right here behind me. Dude, it's so sick.
Gets cooler all the time. It gets cooler all the time, man. All right. So look, the World Cup has been going on. The World Cup. And boy, I tell you, at some points I think, gosh, I'm so over this. And at other times I can't wait for the Prem to start in the fall. What's your take on the Cup? Obviously the USA did not advance. Yeah. past Belgium. In fact, we got our ass kicked. Christian Pulisic seemingly outing himself as a softie. At least that's what everybody's calling our dude out on. So let's talk USA first before we move on to the rest of the tournament, John. What's your take? Yeah.
So my take on USA is Pulisic. Look, man, I respect the kid. He's a good player. He's a good athlete, representing the country well. But to come in your post-conference after an embarrassing 4-1 loss to say, yeah, I'm injured, but now I can get some rest. Buddy, this is the only time the United States has given a shit about you guys. And now you're going to say, oh, I'm going to go get some rest. Look, I loved that Balogun came back. Kind of wish he did it because then I could be on here and gaslight everyone and say, oh, we would have won the World Cup if Balogun played. Can't say that. Love that Balogun went. Gave congrats to Belgium. Congrats to Belgium. I just want to say that. You guys kicked our ass fair and square. They came out flat, Leroy. They came out flat. I got really mad that the whole press was just like, oh, it only happened because Trump called. No, it didn't. Do some fact checks. It was already in motion. The president just called the president of FIFA to be like, hey, review it. Don't act like this is just because Trump was like, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's dumb. And made people not cheer for the USA. Get a fucking grip. But yeah, it was embarrassing, but I had a great time watching it. Like I said before, diehard USA soccer fan. Happens every 4 years. Probably will happen next time again. It's fine.
Have you disconnected from the tournament somewhat now that the U.S. has been eliminated?
A little bit. I watched, like I said, I watched England, Norway, because I really wanted Norway. Whatever player didn't pass it to Holland on that fast break they had, ridiculous.
Yeah, bad move.
Also, soccer, if you gave soccer to the United States, give us 1 year, we'll fix all the rules. Like, look, okay, one of these I saw on Twitter. Let's say you get a red card in a game, right? So that means you're suspended the next game. What it should be, let's say you get a red card in the 38th minute. Okay, you're just suspended for the first 38 minutes of the next game. Fixed already. I also hate that you're allowed to push like on a player's shoulder and head it into the goal. Ridiculous. And they need to fix the offsides. They need to do what the NHL did. Because the perfect tweet I saw was, I'm an American, explain offsides to me. And someone retweeted and said, if anything exciting happens, it's offsides. Literally, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, Team USA, good run, but whatever.
Well, I want to speak to that idea. If anything exciting happens, it gets overturned. And I agree. And I think it's actually part of a wider problem with sports. One of the reasons I became so frustrated with the NFL, and they have essentially, not the sole reason, but among other reasons, kind of ceased following it and being a fan. And I'll tell you what it is. It's the onset of video review, VAR, instant replay, whatever you want to call it. We're at an age now where the whole point of a soccer VAR is to go back and see that the guy that was obviously 2 steps offside, that his body was, you're missing an obvious call, right? That's the intention of it. The intention of instant replay in the NFL was to, not to touch a sore spot with you, but what is it? The Immaculate Reception? Like things that never got to be seen by the public because there was no, yeah, I bet you think that. I bet you think that.
I wasn't even alive.
I know, but you say, if you don't know what the Immaculate Reception is, listener.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Franco Harris.
Franco Harris caught a ball that TV didn't actually see if it hit the ground or not. He ended up taking it for a touchdown. Huge historical play, but it's always been a mystery. Well, did he catch the ball or didn't he catch the ball? That's what instant replay is for. But the problem that I think any reasonable American has with VARs that's being implemented in the World Cup, and I imagine you'll agree, is this, and this is a big problem. Okay, fine. You've got VAR. But the problem is, because we don't have any real mission statement of how we're going to use it, it's not that we have VAR, it's how and who we're going to implement it for. How closely are we going to look at things on VAR depending on who's asking for the review? And I think that that's where most Americans or people who are currently being contemptuous of World Cup soccer and FIFA more directly is exactly that, is it's hard for us to believe, wait a second, when they call the magic booth somewhere, how come one play is reviewed and called back and another one isn't? And that's where we kind of start to bristle and like, wait a second, does somebody kind of have their finger on the scale one way or another? And adding to the whole thing, it takes, because I don't know about you, John, but I've been watching a lot of World Cup soccer, and I tell you, just like a dog that's been beat, every time the goal scores, I suddenly temper my excitement and say, no, it's probably coming back. Just hang on.
Yep.
So you've kind of you've gutted a lot of the shock and adrenaline and the sheer excitement of the game, because you're always waiting for Nanny to come smack your hand and put all the toys back in the box. And so the same problem, it's not just a soccer problem. It's becoming a baseball problem as well, in my opinion. And so the instant replay, I think we as a culture, as a sports culture, have to recalibrate what we're doing here and why it's here in the first place. And I think that's part of what's wrecking a lot of people's World Cup experience, is the way VAR is implemented and how much it just reeks, especially to Americans, of like, wait a second, this isn't transparent. Who's calling the shots here really behind the curtain? You know what I mean, John?
Yeah, well, I watched the Norway-England game at Big Willie's 1717 South Main, our friends over there, but I watched it over there, and when Norway scored that first goal that went off the right post, it was like, hold on, wait. And then they confirmed it, and everyone like, yeah, you know? And you're exactly right. Like, we couldn't even, like, get excited for that. And then, not to be controversial, but, like, was it the Croatia game where if they have the sensors in the soccer ball to where if the guy's hair would have touched the soccer ball, the goal would have counted. But then England, Norway, the fucking ball off a goal kick hit the overhead camera, got redirected, and then Jude Bellingham scored right after that. And that's why Norway was freaking out. So the sensor won't get that, but it could get your hair. I think Americans, more than anything watching this World Cup, is, first of all, the flopping. Americans will never respect that. So we could just pretend. But it's the inconsistency of calls. You watch one game, there's yellow cards flying like they're throwing French fries out of their pocket. And then you watch whenever Bolligan got his red card, that was the first card of the game in like the 70th minute. And it's like the inconsistency and then using the VAR is what's the most frustrating part. And you said it perfectly. Like the NFL, Pat McAfee and them on their show, they've been saying for years, because the refs in the NFL are 1099 independent contractors. They're their own separate like union. The NFL just needs to employ these guys. So they need to go to classes. They need to watch film. They need to know all this, because that's the most frustrating thing as a fan. I'll just bring it into basketball. Dude, that was called traveling when we were growing up, whatever these guys are doing in the NBA now. Like, you can't take, like, it's crazy. I don't even know the rules to any sport anymore sometimes, I feel like.
No, well, and that's the thing, is that going back to the NFL, the intuitive, oh, that's a touchdown, is now taken out of it, to where there are things that by all real-time movement and speed, oh, that's a touchdown. And we dissect it a tenth of a second at a time to shade, like, the ticky-tack bullshit. It's just, it's the same thing. You can just see it beginning with baseball. Every umpire has their own personality. This guy has a wide strike zone. This guy goes little high. Well, you'll notice his strike zone starts to drop through the later innings. Well, now we've got the video review in baseball, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But part of the thing with soccer is that, and here's my last criticism, is these huge, grandiose world personalities that are these referees. Oh, like there's too much glam with these refs, with these like with these soccer, like, and so the way Giancarlo from the Uruguayan Confederation is going to call the game compared to somebody else can be so wildly different. It's hard not to see bias in it unless you are going to squeeze the life out of the game by reviewing every call. And so there's a little bit of a crisis. It's just like, well, we got to have personalities so the game is organic. But at the same time, if we kill those personalities like umps or whatever, and go completely on the computer, now we're in a nightmarish VAR detail review every situation. And so to me, it's kind of a modern sports crisis that is part of the onset of technological revolution that we're in with super 4K video and high definition and being able to, well, like you said, detect the slightest movement of a hair on a soccer ball, which, by the way, John, I'm calling horse shit.
I know, me too.
Oh shit!
Agreed.
I mean, what they do? The soccer ball does a DNA test on the hair instead of thinking that it ran into a moisture droplet. Like, I'm calling it fucking bullshit. And when you, go ahead. No, I was just gonna say, when you smell bullshit like that, everything starts to smell like bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was just going to say, because I work with hair. Give me one of those soccer balls. I bet you I could grab a big hunk of hair and throw it as hard as I can and smack it off the ball and it won't send. Like, hair weighs nothing, dude. And especially when it's like waving in the air as this guy's trying to head it. Like, come on, give me a break.
I mean, the whole idea is to figure out whether or not it was a real goal or not. And now we're going to play lawyer about whether or not it grazed effortlessly over a single hair on his head. And that's kind of where I think for a lot of us viewers, I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'm watching England all the way. They're my team. I'm taking them all the way.
After the last time they won would be a great story.
70 years.
The last thing I'll say about this, okay, and the outrage of Donald Trump reaching out to FIFA, I found it very amusing that all of a sudden the integrity of FIFA was taken out because the United States president called them, as if this hasn't been the most corrupt sporting organization over the last 60 plus years. Like, give me a break. But yeah, it's going to be great.
FIFA likes to create idols in their own image. It was Cristiano Ronaldo, right?
Ronaldinho.
Neymar was supposed to be one of the saviors. Of course, too much drunken womanizing for Neymar. But Messi is the guy right now, the cult of Messi. He is FIFA incarnate. And we can all feel it. We all know who the league's favorite is.
Right.
I'm some backlash because and I know he's the captain of the team, but when Messi comes over to the ref and says, "Hey, what's foul?"
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me go get the foul, sir. Yeah. That's okay. Let me run off and get the foul. And he does. And he runs 60 yards downfield, and then they have a VAR. You think fuck the Moroccan team. You think the Moroccan team can get away with that?
Right.
They can't. And that's just it, how they decide to police the game with their rules and their VAR, etc., and their cards. But you're right. It's like Ronaldo's had his cards overturned for special circumstances. They do it for any other player they wanted to. And, I tell you one bullshit thing just to end this whole, because the one thing I absolutely hate is the politicization of anything like the World Cup, if we can help it, or sports at all. It's just so tiresome. But if anything, something that I did hear was like, oh, well, the reason they lost so bad to Belgium is because the locker room was so divided because some of the players were so resentful that Trump put his finger on the scale. And I'm just thinking to myself, listen, if that's true, then fuck all of you guys. You don't deserve to win shit anyways. You got to block that out. But once again, you got to think how much of the story that's being created by the media, is just got to be because it's a U.S. Cup on U.S. ground, and we got to turn it into something
controversy.
Yeah,
if the USA won, it wasn't because the team was good.
Oh, no.
It'll never be because the USA actually put out a good team on the pitch.
Well, now I know there's going to be, because the next question is where is U.S. soccer then? Where are we now? Did we improve? Like, are we any better than what was it, 1994, 1998, when I was hearing that the golden age of U.S. soccer was to come? Like, players like Donovan and Dempsey and McBride and Howard. You can name them all. There's been so many great players, and we never get any really farther than this. And so the question is where does the loss against Belgium leave us in the soccer world? And I'm going to tell you what my take is on, John, and you can tell me if you think I'm wrong. I don't think it changes a thing. I think if we win, we get a 3 or 4 week bump, but the reality of in America is this, and it's true. There's a stigma behind soccer players. Something about soccer players in the American high school system, in the American sports system. Look, if you're a real stud athlete, an elite athlete, where's the money? Among all the other things that could be wrong with American soccer, the money's in football. The money's in basketball. Any elite athlete isn't going to choose soccer, which is a niche sport, because, high school sports is kind of that's kind of the way in America, and I know there's Super League and super teams, and that makes a huge difference as well. But the reality of it is that, look, our best athletes don't play, are not developed into soccer players, and they never will be. So we're always going to be an underdog, and that's fine with me.
Well, and this is the last thing I'll say. I saw a tweet that said, the U.S. needs someone like Erling Haaland. And I retweeted, I said, if Erling Haaland was born in the U.S., he'd be playing tight end right now in the NFL. Yeah. He's 6'5", runs a 4.2 40. He's not playing no fucking soccer. And that's just the reality. It's just the reality. But, Leroy, let's bring it back to hockey. That's what the listeners want.
Okay.
We didn't get any voicemails this week. But we did get a message from my friend Jim Eskew, South Carolina. He's out there. He lives in what's the beach out there that's really nice?
Myrtle Beach?
Myrtle Beach out there, playing golf every day like he deserves. But he wanted to know your take on the Hurricane owner putting his family names before any of the team players on the Stanley Cup ribbon.
Holden, I think, is this guy's name. Now, how many Holdens are on there? 6, 8?
6 or something like that, yeah.
One of the kids was vice president of hockey operations or something. A couple of those kids actually have jobs with the organization. A few of them don't have anything to do with hockey, if I understand correctly.
Yeah.
I think it's bullshit. Look, it's your team. If you want to immortalize what an asshole you are forever on the cup, I guess you get to choose what names go on the cup. That was a lot of Durdens or Dundons or whatever that guy's name is. I don't know. I guess the guy who pays the bills gets to put on whatever the cup he wants to, but it doesn't change the fact that it's etched on there for a long time.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I'll always remember when Jerry Jones took a radio interview. Owner of the Dallas Cowboys took a radio interview, and I forgot how they framed the question, but they asked him how do you feel about all these fans telling you how to own an NFL team? And he goes, well, if they want to own their own damn team, they can do it, but I'm gonna do what I do. And I was like, I can't. He's the one he owns the team. Part of the team he made and the whatever in me is dude, that's lame. put your players that worked their ass off to bring your organization the glory first. But hey, the guy owns the team. The guy can do whatever he wants. But Leroy, this was great. Let's wrap it up real quick. We're in the dog days of summer, as you said at the beginning. But if you guys ever want to just call up and have us talk with you about some topics, don't forget to call our hotline at 801-810-4869. I have the wrong one on the bottom right now, but I will fix that in post-production. Leroy, got anything to say to our lovely listeners?
No.
Sounds good. Take care of yourself. Stay cool out there. We love you. We'll see you next week on another episode of Slapshot, Utah.